Okay, it seems I'm live. Just need to verify once. Okay, great. So, yeah, I'm late today. I was on travel. I just came back to the office. Just need to check if everything is good. And yeah, looks good. Awesome. So, just waiting for everyone to join and then we can start the session. And how about the audio? Is it properly audible? Yes, I'm properly audible. There's no mentee for this one. I'm planning for mentees for the next session on blockchain. So tomorrow there will be a mentee. Again, for Java section next, we'll have a mentee. Not today, because today we have to cover some important concept. So let me focus on that only. And again, I don't have mentee ready. That's one of the reason. Cool. So what's the topic for today? So topic, in fact, the topic for today is one of the most interesting topic to teach and understand. It's very confusing at the start, but then if you just need to get used to it, just to understand how everything works out. Okay, so topic for today is anonymous class. You might have seen the title and the thumbnail. So anonymous class and Lambda expression. Okay. Okay, so there's a spelling mistake in the Lambda expression. Oh, that's weird. Let me just make the correction there. Okay, inform my team to change the thing. It's actually Lambda, not Lamba. Okay. Are you going to cover? Will you cover cover stream? Let me see, because we already have done 13 sessions and then we have few more sessions left. If I can do that, let me try. Yes, tomorrow we have a session on blockchain. Cool. So if you're watching this, hit that like button, everyone, so that I will know you are here. That's why, Stefan, a new concept for you. Okay, just need to check if my team has seen the message. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow is the first blockchain session where we will going to code. Okay, awesome. So now let me just share my screen and let's talk about anonymous class and Lambda expression. And this class will be interesting, so please concentrate. And I might not be able to answer all of your questions going in chat. So please try to understand what I'm trying to say. And yeah, okay. So let me open so I'm not sharing my screen, but let me open the IntelliJ IDEA first, and then I will share my screen. So I'm opening my IntelliJ IDEA on my laptop, and let me also change the setting here. Okay, awesome. Now, I guess this is what we were doing in the last session. We talked about interface and stuff. Let me close this and remove this part as well. Yeah, we have talked about packages, if I'm not wrong, right? So we have talked about packages, and as of now, I don't. Okay, let's keep the package name there, so that will not get any errors. Mm, package is mentioned. We don't need this classes anymore, and done. Okay, cool. A simple file, right? And let me move my image to the right hand side so that you can see the code properly. Okay, Kill Heist is saying your Java video on YouTube is enough to get a job. Yes, of course. Uh, I mean, even I got to know that it is enough for a job when I saw the comments. If you see the comment section of that video of 7 hours, a lot of people have mentioned that they have watched the entire tutorial and then they were able to crack interviews. So it should be helpful. Yes, I have shared my screen and it should be visible. Do we get full Java stack recording on free on YouTube? No. Okay, cool. So let me just talk about the concept. So just be with me, everyone. So let me create a class here called a very simple class. Of course, we are doing with this class a lot. So let's say we have a class A here, and then we have another class B. So let's create B later. But let's say we have a class A here, and in this class A, we have a very simple method which is called show. Again, just to keep it very simple, I'm going with the class name A. Again, not a good way of naming your class. And I'm mentioning the method name as show. Again, not a good way of naming it. So as per the naming convention goes, don't use these names, use proper names. But then at this point, since we are in the learning phase, we are using a class name as A and the method name as show. And inside this show, I'm printing a message. I'm saying in a show. Okay, it's doing something. So again, in the methods, we don't actually just print the text. We do some other stuff as well. We perform some operation. Let's say if you want to work with database, you make a connections with that. Maybe you want to send a request to the server, you do that. But ultimately, you do that in a method. The reason I'm printing something is just to show that the method is getting called. Okay, nothing much. Okay, so we got a show method here where we are printing a statement. And then this belongs to a class A. Now what I want is, I want to create an object of A here. It's very simple. We can say A obj equal to new A, right? This is how you create an object of a class. Now just to recap the concepts, just a second. Yeah, just to recap the concept, this thing here, which is new A, is actually an object. This A obj here is actually a reference to it. So A obj is reference and new A is the object. So obj is reference, this is the object. Point to remember. Let me repeat once again. This obj is a reference and this new A is actually your object here. And then using this obj, using a reference, we can call the method which is show, and this should work. Let me just run this code once to verify. And if I go back and run this project in the console, which should be visible somewhere. Yeah, it's here. So you can see in the console, it says in a show. So everything is working, right? Now the changes which I want from this code is very simple. The change I want here is, in fact, before that, I just want to do one more thing. So inside this class A, can I create another class? Of course, we can create another class outside class A. But can I create a class called X inside class A? I mean, of course, any class, not just X name. But can I create a class name, let's say ABC inside A? You can see there's no error. So we have created a class called ABC inside a class A. Now, if this works, this concept will be called inner class. Okay, because this is class inside a class. So what we are doing is we are creating a class which is ABC inside a class A. And in order to access this ABC, you have to refer it with A. Example, if I go back to main, and if I want to refer ABC here, you can see it is not able to find ABC. So you have to say, can I say ABC obj1 is equal to new ABC? Even if we want to declare it, let's say equal to null, you can see it's not able to find ABC. So we have to mention that ABC is a part of A. So you have to say ABC belongs to A, right? Because ABC is the inner class here. So just one thing to remember, ABC is the inner class. Okay. And then this thing here, which is the obj, is a reference to it. Cool. Now going back here, so we have talked about inner class, right? So what is inner class? A class inside a class. And if you want to refer to this class ABC, you have to refer A. But then the question is, if we create a class file for it, or yeah, once you compile this code, what will be the class name for this ABC? So basically it will be having a dot. Can I see the output classes? Wait to just run this code once. So we got com.telescope.a. Can you see that? We got two classes inside. So we got class A as a class file, and then we also got ABC. And if you see the name of this ABC, can I see the name of it? Actually, no. Okay, so basically remember this thing. If you want to refer to ABC, you have to refer that with A. So because it belongs to A now. Now that is inner class. So we have a class inside a class, that is inner class. Now once we understand this, let's go back and just remember this topic, because for the anonymous class, we have to understand first inner class, and then we have discussed it. Inner class is basically a class inside a class. Okay. Now what we want here is, I want to do the same thing. I want to create object of A, but then I don't want to print in A show. I want a different behavior. Can we change the behavior of a method? Example, I'm calling show, but I don't want to print the same statement. I want to execute some other block. I want to do something else. So let's say initially I was trying to connect with, just a second. Yeah. Initially I was trying to connect with some other database, and now I want to connect with some other database. Can I do that? Can I change this implementation? Let me know in the chat if I can do that. How do I change this show method without changing this method? Okay, what's the use of inner class? Not much. We don't use it often. There are very specific use case. If you want to have a specific class which is only limited to another class, then you can use inner class. Okay, so you're saying you can't do that, but there's one way, right? We can create another class here, which is B, and this class B can extend A, and then we can simply overwrite this method, and this will print something else. I'm just taking it literally. Okay, so it is printing something else. So we don't want to print in A show. We wanted to do something else, and that's why what we did is we created a new class which extends your class here, and we are printing. In that, we are creating the method which is show, and then we are doing something else there, right? Now, even if I call this, even if I run this code, what do you think? What will be the output? Will it print in A show, or it will print something else? Okay, let me run this code. And you can see it is still printing in A show. Tell me why. Okay, so it is printing in A show, right? So what is the reason? The reason is very simple. You are still creating object of A, right? So if you want to do that, if you want to call B, you can create the reference of A, but the object should be of B, right? Awesome. So now I can see something in chat. You are talking about it. That's great. Let me run this code and see what the output is. And you can see it says something else. So this is working. So we are able to change the behavior of show method by overriding it, right? So this concept here is called overriding. Okay, this looks cool. Now tell me one thing. Don't you think that the entire purpose, the purpose of this class B, we have this question for ourselves, what is the purpose of your life? What you want to do? What you want to achieve? In the same way, if you ask this question to class B, so tell me one thing in the chat section. What is the purpose of your life? Okay. So the same question we are asking to B. Hey B, what is the purpose of your life? B says, my only purpose in this world is to override the method of A. Don't you think we are wasting the entire class here? So instead of doing this, can we do this? Let me just comment this part. I'm not deleting it, okay? Let me comment it and let me create the object of A itself here. Now, why to create another class which will be there for a long time, which we just want to use only once? Maybe I'm going to use this class A multiple times in my project, but this class B will be used only once. If you have such scenarios, what you need to do is you need to create something called anonymous class. Now, how do we do that? So what we can do is just after this A, just before the semicolon, you can create a class here itself. Okay. Awesome. So what we can do is we can simply create a class here itself. So just before the semicolon, just open the curly brackets and close. Basically, we are creating a class definition. This looks like the inherited class, but it works in a different way. So this is basically called inner class. Why this inner class? Because we are creating this class inside another class. So this class here is an inner class, but then the beauty is this inner class, it doesn't have a name. And that's why it is called anonymous inner class. Okay, so whatever, so imagine this is a class, you can define this method which is show here itself. It's that simple, right? So what we are doing is we're getting a separate class here which is inside another class and it doesn't have a name. And that's why it is called anonymous inner class. Okay, so now let's run this code and you can see it is printing something else. So even if you have a class definition of A, you're still printing this particular method here, which is show. So this is a method inside a class or inside a class which is anonymous in a class. And where do we find this? So if I go back to so I want to find the bytecode of this, and you can see there's no bytecode for this particular inner class. It's actually there inside A, not inside A, inside project, but in a different format. Again, we'll talk about this format in some time, what this format looks like. Okay, so Mr. Pawar has cracked a joke which I can't see in the chat. Okay, awesome. So here basically we are trying to create this, right? So this is in a class. Okay, Lambda expressions, is it still Lambda? Awesome. Okay, cool. So now you got this point, right? This is called inner class. And now one more thing. What if I make this class as interface? Can I do this with interface? Because anyway, we are not using this we are not using this definition, right? I can simply give a semicolon here and let me remove public. So basically we are making this class A as interface. Now I want to do the same thing. Let me just remove everything and you tell me how do we do this. And let me just remove B. Of course, we can have a class B which implements class A, right? But then the only purpose of this class B would be to implement class A or implement the interface A. Can I directly create object of interface here? Let me try. So if I say A obj equal to new A, can I do this? Of course, the compiler itself says, hey, you can't do that. You cannot instantiate the interface. It says A is abstract, cannot be instantiated. So how do we instantiate this? So what we can do is we can create a class here itself, the same thing we have done before. Just after the semicolon, just before the semicolon, give curly brackets open and close. You are actually implementing the interface here. Rahul is asking, what's the purpose of anonymous class? See, the thing is, you can create a normal class as well instead of anonymous class. It's just that if you want to use a class only once in the entire project, or even if not once, multiple times, let's say 2 or 3 times. Okay, let's say one time. In that case, it makes sense to use anonymous class because it will not create extra class files which you have to manage. Okay, so here we are creating a class here, but the only problem is if you are creating a class for this interface, you need to define the method as well, which is public void show. And you can define the method here. So basically what we are doing is we are implementing the interface, but with the help of anonymous inner class. And here we are printing in a show. So can I create object of interface? Still no. If you can, if you're thinking this new A is working, actually not. We are not instantiating the interface. We are instantiating a class object, or we are instantiating a class which is anonymous in a class. Can we declare variables inside anonymous class? Yes, you can. Oh, let's try. Yeah, it works. There's no error, so you can. Okay, can we call anonymous class more than once if needed? See, the only thing is, if you have this reference, you can use it. But if you lose this reference, then gone. Example, just if I come back here and say obj equal to null, it's gone. Anonymous class gone. You can't access it now. So I mean, after this line, you can't access it. So use it only when you know that it will be used only once. Yeah, that's right. So it creates anonymous class project $1. That's right. Awesome. So if you are enjoying this concept, hit that like button, everyone. Sai Kiran says objects cannot be created for interface. That's true. So we are not creating object for the interface. We are creating an object of our inner class, which is anonymous. Awesome. I mean, hit the like button, the actual like button on the YouTube or on the YouTube page. Awesome. Okay, cool. Now tell me one thing. Let me just remove this variable. So we are able to create object of interface, not exactly. We are trying to instantiate an interface with the help of anonymous inner class. Okay. Okay, you want me to run this code, but we have to also call the method first, right? Let me just run this code. And you can see we got the output. Awesome. Now what next? Now see, one of the thing about Java is very verbose, or it has a lot of boilerplate code. I mean, of course, you are creating the entire class here just to create this method. But if you think about this, don't you think this number of lines here, at least till this point, is wastage? We expect our programming language to be smart, right? In fact, we expect our computer to be smart, and even the programming language should be smarter than us. So when I say programming language, I'm talking about the compilers and virtual machines. They should be smarter. So why do we even have to mention this new a here? When I'm saying a obj on left hand side, it should imagine that, or it should assume that we want to say new a. I mean, even if I ask you, hey, if I'm saying there's a class called uh, computer, and then you have to, so if I try to do this, if I say computer obj equal to, you will, in your brain, you're automatically trying to complete that, right? You're saying, okay, new computer. So when you can do it, why can't compiler do it? So I think this section here is actually not required. And inside this class A, don't you think we have only one method? So why to even mention the show method name there? So actually from this line to this line, it's actually a wastage of lines and words in Java. So if I feel, do you think that's a wastage of lines and stuff? Let me know. If you say yes, I will simply delete that line. Okay, so if this is a wastage, let me delete the line. But the moment I do that, my compiler is giving me some bad words. Compiler says, what is this? How can you simply put a round brackets and you're making it work? So basically, if you want to achieve this, you can remove the line, but then you have to introduce a new, not a keyword, but a new operator here, which is arrow. And then you can complete this. Since we have removed one curly brackets, we can remove one curly brackets here as well. And this works. Okay, so let me run this code and you can see we got in a show. It is working. So the moment we say that's a boilerplate code or that's the extra code, we have removed the code, it is working. Yeah, that's right, Manasa. So the thing before it was, so this thing actually was introduced in Java 8. So till Java 7, we have to still use, still have to go for the older version. Now from Java 8, you can simply remove the extra stuff. Now let me show you what I have actually removed. And so that you can actually relate what I'm trying to do. What I will do is I will just copy this code and keep it here. And let me comment this section so that you can see what is happening. So basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to delete this part which is not needed. And when I delete this part, we are actually losing this one curly bracket. So when we are losing that curly bracket, we have to remove this curly bracket as well. Right? So let me remove that part and this part. And then you just have to put an arrow. So take your time and observe these two different syntax. Now again, if you're thinking I'm going a bit fast, you want to have a self-paced course, there is a playlist on YouTube, or there is a video on YouTube which is Java in 7 hours. And you will see everything step by step, and you can even pause the videos. Okay, what's the use? Yeah, so yeah, this expression here is actually called the lambda expression. Lambda expression. Now, what's the use of this? This is used to remove unwanted lines and reduce your code. It is much easier to read. That's right. The first is anonymous inner class. The second is lambda function or lambda expression. Cool. That's right, Mono Gaming. 200 likes, everyone. See, if you want this to be reduced further, hit that like button. If we cross 200, I will reduce this further. What if you can just convert this 5 to 6 lines of code in one line? Yes, it also no, Pava. It does not deal with code redundancy. It's just that Java is very verbose. For the same thing, you have to write multiple lines of code. So Java says, okay, at least there are some things which we can remove. So they have introduced the Lambda expression, which will remove it. In fact, in the newer versions of Java, we have some amazing features using which you can write less lines of code. And soon I'm going to make a video on the new Java 8 features or Java 14, Java 17 features. Come on, for that you have to hit that like button and make sure that it reaches to 200. Okay, now there are a few of you who are mentioning about one important aspect. See, now we are saying that this interface or this class has only one method, and that's why we don't have to mention. But what if you have multiple methods? In this case, Lambda expression will not work. Okay, so that's important stuff. So interface can be of three types basically. Interface can be normal methods, which we have done before. Interface can be a functional interface. An interface can be a marker interface. Now, what's the difference between functional, normal, and marker? So in the marker, you will be having 0 methods. In functional, you will be having only one method. And in normal, we can have any number of methods. Or we can say 1 plus. And yes, Lambda expression is there in multiple languages, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so basically what is marker interface? So in the interface, if we don't have any method, that's a marker interface. I guess in Java, we have one of the class called serializable interface. Let me just try that. Serializable. Yeah, can you see that? This is a inbuilt interface in Java, which is called serializable, and it does not have any method. So this is basically a marker interface. And then we have some interfaces which has only one method. Example, if you say runnable interface, runnable has only one method. So this is called a functional interface. Okay, so if our interface has 0 methods, that is marker interface. If our interface has only one method, that is functional interface, and the interface has multiple methods, that's a normal interface. And Lambda expression only works when you have a, let me remove this. Yeah, so Lambda expression will work only when you have a functional interface. That means if your interface has only one method, then only you can use it. Okay, good question, Saket. Then what's the use of serializable? For that, you have to watch my 7 hours video, which should be mentioned there. Okay, most of you have the same question. What's the use of marker interface? See, the thing is, sometimes you just need to provide the permissions. So serializable interface actually provides the permission for your JDK or JVM to serialize the object. By default, serialization is blocked. As a developer, if you want to give the permission, you just need to implement serialization or serializable. Have video? Okay. So we are sharing the link for the marker interface, and you can just watch that video. Glam nails, no, the doubt solving session starts from tomorrow. So for the people who have enrolled for the courses, the Java full stack course, We are also having multiple doubt solving session per week. So this time we have 2 doubt solving session. The first one is coming tomorrow. Tomorrow 8 p.m. Yeah. So just after the live session which we complete here. So tomorrow 7 to 8 on YouTube, I'm going to take a live session on blockchain. Once that's over, I'll be there for the doubt solving session for Java. Okay, how Lambda expression works? See, behind the scene, this thing is actually getting converted into this thing. It's only for developers, okay? Only for developers, we say this, or only for the coders, but behind the scene, it gets converted into this syntax. Okay, how can I watch the first video of the course? Which course? The live course which we are doing now, or the Java complete playlist? So let me do one thing. Let me just share both the playlist. Java live playlist plus Java full playlist. Is there anonymous method concept in Java as well? No, I don't think so. I have not worked on that, or I'm not able to recall now. Anonymous methods? No, there's no anonymous methods. Yeah, the one line of code, right? So we can actually convert. See, if you talk about this method, it only has one line, right? Remember in the if condition or else condition, if you have only one statement, we don't need curly brackets in that case. We can remove the curly brackets here. And if you have removed that, we can put everything in one line. So it's that simple. Okay, what is present from line? Okay, so let me remove all the extra stuff from here so that you can just focus on the code which we have written. All this extra. Look at the code, how short the code is. We have instantiated an interface with only one line of code. Okay, so the marker interface video have been shared in the chat. There is also a Java live community class which we are doing now is also shared. And now we are sharing the 7 hours Java video. We got off. It's in the description. Okay, you can check this description also. There are multiple links available for different tutorial series we have. The voice is off. No, it's audible. Okay. Okay, so it says we can use Lambda only for functional interface, and that is correct, yes. And then you might be thinking, how many functional interface do we really have? In fact, what if I say most of the time the interfaces will only have one method? So most of the interface which you work with, if you observe, it will only have one method. So at least it works with that. Okay, Jairam, string buffer, string builder will have a separate class on it. The entire string topic. How many more classes will be held for Java? So we'll be doing multiple seasons. The first season will be getting over in next 2 days or next 2 sessions, which is 15 days of Java. But again, we were not able to complete most of the part. Example, threads will not be covered. Then collection API will be remaining. So we'll start a second season with a small break in between. And in that, we'll be discussing about those topics. Yes, is it teaching Java? Yes, that's a Java code in front of you. No, Lambda is not faster. It's just a syntactical sugar. And anyway, it is getting converted into a normal anonymous class behind the scene. That's what I got confused. Is most of the interfaces will have, most of the interfaces will have only one method. So if you have the interface with one method, then only you can use it. Otherwise, you can't use it. Will you teach Python? We have a series on Python, right? It's one of the best best playlist on YouTube. That's what I can see. Okay, so that's about anonymous class and Lambda expression. So we'll talk about remaining concept in the next session, which is on Thursday. And now let me take up some questions here. Okay, do you have series on Java threads? Yes, in fact, if you just go to playlist, maybe you people don't actually go to the channel videos. So if you go to playlist section, you can see I have a lot of playlist. So if you can just scroll, you will get everything which you needed, maybe most of it. Yeah, even you can search. Go to YouTube and search for. So first add a telescope keyword at the start and then search something, you will get the video. Okay, there's a question from Gaurav. In the full course, it includes old video recording. It will be good to have a proper grouping to the videos. If not, it will be confusing to identify. Yeah, that's right. Actually, this is the first time we are launching the Java course. Maybe for the next batch, this live recording, which we are doing in the live course, will be shared. But as of now, we are sharing the old ones, and yeah, we'll do some setting with that so that it will be easier for learning. Any update to Java Telesco Hindi channel? Yeah, since I got busy with all this other stuff, but soon I will be creating videos on Java in Hindi. What is predicate? Yeah, we'll talk about once we start with the Stream API. What topics are covered in advanced Java? So use a link in the chat, pinned chat, and you will see the syllabus. It's huge. And again, if you have joined the batch and if you are still watching this video, announcement for you, there is a doubt solving session tomorrow at 8 p.m. You might have received the mail as well. How much Java do I need to get started with Spring Boot? Core Java is required. Basic knowledge of servlets will be required. Do you have series on Java threads? Yes. Oh, we have already talked about it, right? While streaming related topics we covered in Spring Boot. Which stream? Is this community class is enough to learn Java, at least to get started with? I saw you have launched Python in Hindi. Can you more elaborate on that in English? Is English still used when it comes to programming keywords like function or class? Yeah, that's right. In fact, even I forgot to mention that. So Gaurav, yes, 2 days back, I guess we have launched. In fact, yesterday itself, we have launched the Python course. So just like we have a Java course on the channel, or not on the channel, but on iNeuron, the full stack Java course, we also have full stack Python course using Django, which is web development using Python and Django. The only thing is that entire course will be in Hindi, but the programming concept will be in English. Okay. So it's a mixture of Hindi and English. So it is not purely Hindi, of course. You can't convert public static void main to Hindi. How do I do that? Help me in the chat. How do I say public static void main in Hindi? It will be interesting to see. But yes, programming syntax will be in English. Others explanation will be in Hindi. So that's the idea. So if you want to check out, okay, we forgot to place. Can you place a link of the Python course? I'm not sure where it is. iNeuron, courses.iNeuron. Check out the course and yeah. Can you explain about Web3? There's a video on Web3. Go to YouTube and search for Telescope Web3 and watch a video. Okay, when can we expect next batch for Java full stack? Not sure, at least for next 3 to 4 months. Maybe after that. Okay, we got the conversion of public static void main. Sarvajanik stay. Okay, my Hindi is bad now. How do I pronounce that? Sarvajanik? Static. Static shunya mukh. Static still remains static. Static remains static. Okay. Saitik. Okay. Saitik shunya mukhya. Thank you so much for that. That's a Google conversion maybe. Is Lambda expression a replacement of anonymous in a class? No, not a replacement, but just an add-on. If you have only one method, then you can use Lambda expression. Stay. Okay, stay. Static is stay, right? हाँ रुका हुआ, right? Stable. So check out the Python course as well, which is coming up, which will be in Hindi. The link is shared in the chat. What's the use of double colon operator? That's for method reference, which we'll discuss in the stream API. Yes, there was a mismatch. You were supposed to receive the full stack Java feedback form, but you received JavaScript. Yeah, something went wrong on the backend side. Okay, if you want Lambda expression in brief, Sai, what you can do is just watch a video on Lambda expression that is more crisp. Okay, I think we are good for today. Let's connect tomorrow for blockchain. We'll write our first Solidity code tomorrow, and it will be fun. So that's it, everyone. See you in the next session. It's chilled here. Bye bye, everyone. See you in the next live session, and make sure that you join tomorrow as well. It will be interesting to see.